and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to the circle, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new readings every single day. And if you're looking for personal services or personal readings, I offer them through my website, innercircleguidance.com. Let's find out what the circle needs to know today. We have the Two of Swords. We have the Seven of Wands. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Page of Wands. We have the King of Chalices. We have the Three of Swords. All right. With the Three of Swords being on the bottom of the deck, this reading is having to do with disappointments when it comes to things from your past and relationships, specifically the way words have hurt you, the way your thoughts have taken those words and internalized them, and the way you have felt maybe abandoned or betrayed or disappointed by the people that you care about. I'm seeing with the Two of Swords that there's two things that you've been sort of blinded to here. And it has to do with the way that you were probably raised. The thing is that healthy relationships are often not taught in most schools or discussed really in depth by most families. If you didn't grow up in a household where very healthy communication and healthy relationships were very prevalent in your life, you have to learn a lot of these things about relationships, about healthy boundaries, about communication, and things like that through trial and error, or through kind of seeing things that are happening and wanting or desiring something different. What I'm seeing here is that there's these two things that you've sort of overlooked, and it's causing you to jump from moment to moment of stability, but there's no real stability in it because at any point in time, it could crumble. The two things that you have been blinded to are that healthy boundaries and healthy communication are not automatic in loving relationships. You can love someone or love a friend or love a family member and still have poor boundaries and poor communication. These things are not inherent. They're things that you have to learn. They're also things that you have to actively participate in your life. And what I'm seeing with the Seven of Wands is that for those of you who have been working on trying to better communicate and better draw healthy boundaries, you have this sort of expectation here that if you verbally say, this is my boundary, or you verbally say, I want to communicate like this, that it's then the other person's responsibility to uphold that expectation. When in reality, if you want to maintain healthy boundaries, the accountability of holding the healthy boundary falls on you. Healthy boundaries are meant to keep yourself and your well-being preserved mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Healthy boundaries are not to punish someone else, to make them feel bad, or to control them. Or if you were brought up that you had to be very accommodating or you had to agree with everything that your parents said or did, or it was very like my way or the highway when you were growing up, or if you just didn't have emotionally available parents. So what's happening is you keep trying to establish these things and or you want to have healthy communication, healthy boundaries, but you haven't figured out how to create a stable foundation for that. With the Wheel of Fortune, I'm seeing that there is a shift that's happening, but in this particular deck, this Wheel of Fortune has to do with a shift in power. Some of you are using your communication and using your boundaries to control your partner or to have point score arguments where you argue and instead, and it doesn't have to be a romantic partner, whoever else is involved in the relationship, but you have these point score arguments where instead of trying to solve a problem or instead of listening to the other person. You're more focused on winning the argument and scoring points, whether that is keeping track of points for what you think someone does or doesn't deserve, or keeping points for who said the more clever or hurtful thing, whatever it may be in your point system. But I'm seeing that so far you have not fully learned how to communicate and uphold your boundaries in an effective manner. The Page of Wands is indicating that there may be energies that you are getting caught up in that are controlling you versus you controlling them. Pages in particular have to do with ideas and thoughts and action taken on those ideas and thoughts. Also with motivation. So again, if you're creating boundaries or you're communicating from the motivation of being in power or control, then you're not really effectively or in the most healthy manner creating those boundaries and communicating your thoughts and feelings. The intention is just as important as the action. The King of Chalices is indicating that you are being prompted to tap into your emotions and have a deeper understanding. But the King of Chalices is also somebody who is very good at communicating in emotional situations. They're like the rock that stays steady even when the tides may be going all over the place. You're being prompted to figure out how to listen to your emotions, be honest about your emotions, but not allow your emotions to control everything you're doing. One good way of learning how to be more intentional with your emotions is to, instead of reacting, pausing and intentionally making a choice. For some of you, you're getting too caught up in the emotion or the energy or the motivation with what it is that you're trying to achieve. Your desire is in the right place of wanting peace in these things, but the way you're going about it is not effective. You're being prompted to shift. Some of you need to be better about the way you communicate your ideas and communicate from a place of understanding and with the intention of solving a problem versus hurting the other person's feelings or making them feel or seem less knowledgeable than they are or whatever it is. Essentially, you want to use your intellect and your emotions in a positive way, not as a weapon towards the people you care about. Because when you use your intellect and you use your emotions negatively towards the people in your life, all it does is harm the relationship that you have with them, and it harms you. Some of you just really need to shift your mindset or shift the way you're going about trying to achieve this. Take accountability for the things that are yours to take accountability for and hold the accountability towards others for that which they should be held accountable for. When you are creating healthy boundaries, you do need to have consequences if those boundaries are not upheld. Not to harm or to control the other person, but to protect yourself. Your boundaries should be less about telling other people no and more about what you are saying no to. Your communication style needs to be that which is patient, is intentional. It needs to be that you're actually wanting to solve the problem or that you actually want to gain and give understanding. There's a difference between listening and hearing. Some of you need to listen more and talk less. Some of you need to slow down, and instead of reacting, you need to act with intention. So figure out what's hanging you up in the healthy boundaries area and your communication. Is it that you're getting caught up in your emotions? Is it that your motivation's misplaced? Is it that you are focusing on being on top or being seen a specific way instead of actually solving the problem? What are these little jumps that you're jumping to? Some of you, I'm seeing that it's not just about jumping from stability post to stability post and not having stability. Some of you are jumping to immediate reactions that are your default settings from previous disappointments. So you also need to pay attention to what your immediate reactions have been when it comes to your healthy boundaries and it comes to your communication. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight and helps you a little bit figure out what the problem is and how to sort of effectively shift the energy in a more positive direction. Your affirmation is, I am learning how to uphold healthy boundaries and communicate effectively. And if this reading resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, comment that affirmation down in the comments below. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.